Let me preface what I'm about to say with this. I love Sonic Frontiers. Sonic Frontiers is my comfort game. I play Sonic Frontiers because it makes me happy. The music is fire, the story is fire, but why is it so serious? I really am not trying to be one of those people who complain about every little thing in the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. However, I kind of wanted to speak on how I feel about the tone of Sonic Frontier. It's extremely melancholy and I just don't really understand why. I mean, yeah, the stakes of the game are relatively high, I guess, but I feel like Sonic and his friends have faced higher stakes in different games, and the tone was nowhere near as melancholy or as somber as it is now. I guess I'm mainly thinking about how the characters are characterized in this game. Not really Knuckles. Knuckles is most definitely the goated character of this entire game. Of all the Sonic games, for that matter. You know, he's number one. But Sonic, Amy, and Tails are very different. Well, maybe not so much Tails, but definitely Sonic and Amy. Sonic seems so jaded by life at this point. It seems like all the adventures of chasing after Eggman and trying to free his friends and all of that has finally caught up to him and he's just tired. And it's like, Sonic sounds like he's 50 years old half the time. He probably is technically, but he just seems so over it. You know, where's the snappy one-liners? Where's the attitude? Where's the edge and the rebellious attitude that he used to have? It's not there. And I don't know, that kind of sucked. And then there's Amy, who just lost all kind of bubbly and happy-go-lucky attitude that she usually has. I've also noticed that her crush isn't very prevalent in this game on Sonic. I've made a video about that, but I don't really mind the fact that Amy's crush isn't prevalent, but what I do mind is that I feel like Sega thinks that if she doesn't have a crush on Sonic, then she also can't have that bubbly, kind of feisty personality that we're used to, you know, and that really sucks, because it's like her whole personality does not revolve around Sonic, but she just seems so worried and kind of down. I mean, I get it, you know, being trapped in cyberspace wouldn't be the best thing, but I feel like she's seen worse, but even when she's seen worse, her attitude was like sky high, way better than what it is now. Like, remember in Sonic Unleashed when the world was literally split apart? Remember how Amy was still flirting with Sonic? Remember how she still was a little feisty? Remember that? She still smiled, she still joked around, she was still bubbly. The stakes were higher, but she was still happier. Here in Sonic Frontiers, I'd say the stakes are a little lower. Somehow it gets her down way worse than Unleashed. Am I missing something? I'm probably missing something. You guys let me know if I'm missing something in the comments, because I might be missing something. Then you have Sonic and his relationship with Tails. I read something about this on Twitter where they don't really act like brothers anymore. I mean, sure, you know, Sonic is always there to comfort Tails and be there for him, and he's a big brother in that aspect, but they don't usually joke around. They don't really give each other a hard time. They don't tease each other like siblings should. They're way too cordial for my liking, honestly, and it just comes across as if they're not actually that close. Remember in Sonic Adventure when Tails came out there with the emerald, and then here Eggman comes stealing the emerald, and then Sonic's like, Tails! Like, that was sibling dynamic to the T, right? But that sibling dynamic isn't really there. And again, I think it's just because of the serious tone of this game. I'm actually very happy that Sega is taking a more serious approach in their tone with these new video games. I don't want them to go back to the meta era in like the 2010s where everything was a joke. I want them to take things seriously, but I just don't want them to go all the way to the opposite end. Like, it doesn't need to be an extreme. Like, they literally went from one extreme to another, and that's not necessarily what's needed, you know? What made Sonic so cool in the first place was that he kind of had this weird attitude when it came to serious situations. Why are you smirking? And Eggman is about to split this planet in half, sir. What's funny about this? I think Frontiers might have took a little too much inspiration from Breath of the Wild. Not just in terms of aesthetic and atmosphere, but in terms of tone. And the thing is, Breath of the Wild having a more melancholy, somber tone in its story makes a lot of sense for the plot. Because in that plot, they lost. And they lost really, really bad. A lot of lives were lost. The warriors of each village, they they were pretty much done for. And then, you know, you have Link coming back 100 years later and he pretty much has to defeat Ganon by himself. That's a lonely feeling. It's sad, it's somber. So that makes sense in my opinion. But that kind of tone doesn't necessarily mesh well with the plot in Frontiers. Well, I guess if you squint it could because of the backstory with the end and then, you know, the chaos in their history. So in that sense, I guess it does make it makes a little more sense. But in terms of the main events of the game, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of rain. The music, it's cool sometimes, but a lot of the time it's very somber. And the atmosphere, I mean, the environment, it feels like I'm running around in Hyrule Field for 20 hours. I don't know. I guess I just want Sega to be a little more balanced in their approach when it comes to how they portray the tone in their games. Like, it doesn't need to be 100% serious, but it doesn't need to be 100% goofy either. Like, where's that happy medium? I think Sonic Unleashed really kind of had that happy medium. Sonic Adventure, that's kind of why those games are so beloved. But that's just how I'm feeling. I hope you guys will let me know in the comments about how you're feeling about Sonic Frontiers. Am I tripping? Let me know, because I really could just be not considering other factors of the game. I thank you guys for your support. I thank you for subscribing and watching my videos and commenting. It really does mean a lot to me. I'll be back with another video soon. You guys stay tuned.